Beneath the silver glow of a crescent moon, there existed a peculiar little bookstore named Whispers of the Pages, nestled on the corner of Juniper Street and the sleepy avenue of Drowsy Hollow. This quaint establishment, with its ivy-draped facade and a warm golden light spilling from its stained glass windows, was more than a home for stories. It was a cradle for dreams, run by the enigmatic Madame Biblios, a woman of gentle smile and eyes that seemed to have read the soul of the world. In this little town, people spoke of Madame Biblios's bookstore with a kind of reverent whisper, for it was said that within its walls, one could find the very book that their heart needed to read, not necessarily the one they wanted. And so, it was on a particularly starless night that a troubled young man named Oliver ventured into Whispers of the Pages, his heart heavy with worries that robbed him of sleep. As Oliver stepped through the carved mahogany door, the chime of an old brass bell announced his entry. He was immediately enveloped by the scent of aged paper and the subtle fragrance of lavender. The bookstore seemed to hum with the quiet energy of 1,000 sleeping stories, each waiting for the touch of curious fingers to awaken them. Madame Biblios, looking up from an ancient tome she was perusing behind the counter, greeted Oliver with a knowing smile. "Good evening, young sir. What story does your heart seek on this quiet night?" Oliver, unsure, merely shrugged. "I don't know," he admitted. "Lately, my nights are filled with restlessness, and my days are clouded by the shadows of unrest." "Ah," Madame Biblios said, her voice a soothing balm, "you need a story steeped in the tea of tranquility, with pages that whisper lullabies for your weary soul." She disappeared among the towering shelves, her silhouette a gentle wisp of movement. Minutes passed, the ticking of a grandfather clock the only sound accompanying Oliver's thoughts. Then, Madame Biblios reappeared, a slim, leather-bound book in hand. Its pages were edged with a subtle gilding that seemed to flicker in the low light. "Read this as you would sip a cup of chamomile, slowly, letting its essence calm you, page by page," she instructed, handing the book to Oliver. The title was etched in delicate script, "The Night's Soft Wings." Curious, Oliver found a plush armchair tucked in a moonlit nook and began to read. As he did, something wonderful occurred. The words off the page began to flutter like moths, and the worries that clouded Oliver's mind took flight with them, disappearing into the quiet corners of the bookstore. The story spoke of a silent guardian of the night, a great and gentle owl named Argent, whose wings were as wide as the night sky. Argent's task was to fly over the world after dusk, spreading his wings wide to gather the day's sorrows and take them far away, leaving only the peaceful hush of the night behind. In the heart of a whispering forest, where the leaves rustled with the secrets of the earth, there lay a hidden glen, veiled from the world by the enchantments of old. This glen was known to a special few as the Dell of the Dawn Chorus, where the songbirds of legend came to roost and where the first breath of the morning was born. At the very edge of the glen, within a grove of elder trees whose trunks spiraled towards the heavens, there stood a quaint little cabin with walls of intertwined branches and a roof thatched with the feathers of 1,000 birds. This cabin was the home of a solitary figure named Elara, the mistress of melodies. Elara was a keeper of songs, a collector of the symphonies of nature. With a voice as clear as the mountain spring and as soft as the velvet night, she would sing to the stars, and they would twinkle back in appreciation of her gift. One tranquil evening, as the forest hushed its whispers and awaited the night serenade, a traveler lost in the maze of his own mind stumbled upon the Dell of the Dawn Chorus. His name was Rowan, a poet whose words had once danced upon the lips of the wind but now lay silent, locked within the confines of his thoughts. Led by a melody that seeped through the tangled woods, Rowan found himself at Elara's door, his heart rhythm syncing with the cadence of her song. Elara ceased her singing and turned, her eyes reflecting the soft luminescence of twilight. "Greetings, traveler," she said, her voice carrying the harmony of the universe. "What brings you to the Dell of the Dawn Chorus?" Rowan, moved by her melodic greeting, found the strength to voice his plight. "I have lost my words," he confessed. "The poetry within me has faded, and with it, the sweetness of my dreams." Elara considered him with a gentle gaze. "Then let us find your words together," she offered, "through the power of the Dawn Chorus." With the morning came a symphony as the birds of the glen awoke. Elara led Rowan out into the misty dawn, where the air itself seemed to shimmer with the anticipation of the first light. She lifted her hands, and the birds fell silent. In the stillness, Elara sang a single, pure note. The note hung in the air, a beacon calling forth the light. Slowly, the birds began to join in, one by one, their voices weaving around Elara's in a tapestry of sound and light. Rowan watched, his heart swelling with an emotion he had long forgotten, the joy of creation, the ecstasy of art. As the glen filled with the chorus, Rowan's mind cleared, and like a stream after the thaw, words began to flow once more. He whispered them at first, tentative and shy, but as the dawn broke in splendid color above the glen, his voice grew stronger. Together, Elara and Rowan sang to the sunrise, a duet of bird and bard, of nature and man. The song they created was a celebration of beginnings, of hope, and of the rebirth of Rowan's poetic spirit. In the secluded vale of Arden's Whisper, where the sky kissed the peaks of ancient firs and the breeze spoke in hushed tones, there lay a meadow known to the fortunate few as the Glade of Dreams. This was a sanctuary untouched by time, cradled by the gentle hum of the earth's secret heartbeat. In this meadow, there was a peculiar cottage, woven together from living branches and blooming flora. It was the abode of an enigmatic figure known only as the Weaver. She was an ageless being, her fingers nimble as they spun the threads of slumber into a tapestry of dreams. Every dusk, the Weaver would step out, her eyes reflecting the palette of twilight, violets, deep blues, and the last golden threads of day. In her hands, she carried the dreaming loom, an ancient artifact that resonated with the whispered wishes of those seeking rest. One night, a young boy named Callum, with eyes full of wonder and a heart burdened by wakefulness, wandered into Arden's Whisper. He had heard of the legends that spoke of a weaver who crafted dreams so vivid that they could soothe any restless spirit. Guided by the stars and the soft glow of fireflies, Callum found the Glade of Dreams and stood before the cottage. The weaver appeared, like a wraith of silken shadows, her presence both comforting and awe-inspiring. "Good evening, young one," she greeted, her voice the softest murmur of leaves. "I see the Sandman has forsaken your eyes." Callum nodded, his gaze locked onto the dreaming loom, its strands shimmering with a luminescence that seemed to pulse in tune with his own heartbeat. "I cannot find my way to the land of dreams," he confessed. "My mind is a canvas painted with the worries of the day, and it frightens away the peace of night." The weaver listened, her head tilted in a gesture of understanding. "Then let us weave a dream for you, one that will escort you into the arms of Morpheus." With hands that wove magic and comfort, the weaver worked the dreaming loom. The threads began to dance and twine, capturing the hues of the night, the whispers of the wind, and the fragrance of the meadow. Each movement was deliberate, spinning a story just for Callum. As the loom's shuttle moved back and forth, an image began to emerge, a ship sailing upon gentle nocturnal waves, beneath a moonlit sky. The vessel was bound for the island of serene shores, a place within dreams where worries were as fleeting as the morning dew. Callum watched, his eyelids growing heavy as the scene came to life, more vivid with every pass of the weaver's hands. A yawn escaped him, and his worries melted away, replaced by the call of distant, dreamy shores. "Step aboard," the weaver invited, and Callum felt himself lifted by an unseen force, carried on the currents of enchantment to the deck of the dream ship. He lay down, the deck as soft as down, and looked up to the canvas of stars above, now so clear and serene.